Tankers is mad and welcome back. So a lot of you have been asking over the months for me to do a garage video. Well, I've got too many tanks to do it all in one go. So today I'm just going to do the tier 10s, and this is the second time I'm trying to record it because the first time I got to an hour I was like, God, people don't want to listen to me waffle on for an hour. So I'm going to try and do it a little quicker. I'm literally going to tell you what the tank is, even though you can read it on the screen, whether it was worth the grind, and just stuff like that. Anyway, so first one then, T110E5, one of two tier 10 American heavy tanks. You've obviously got the T57 heavy autoloader, and you've got this one, recently buffed. It has a commander's cupola type thing with a machine gun, and they've just buffed that to make it even stronger. It wasn't exactly weak before, and so they've taken away one of the very few things you can pen this thing from the front easily. Yeah, it's frontally armoured very well. The lower plate either side of the drive wheel, you can pen it through there, but other than that you're going to need some extremely high pen rounds to get through the front. Side armour's not great, the rear armour's not great, but this thing from the front, and especially hold down if you keep moving backwards and forwards, is an absolute beast. And it's one of the worst tanks you can come across if you're a tier 8 or a tier 9. It will chew you up and spit you out. An amazing tank. See, I've got one barrel mark. I'm going for 3 on this one. I don't have a huge amount of time to grind my grinders, let alone grind barrel marks at a minute, so it's taking a long time. Right, next one then. First to me, British tanks. My first ever tier 10 medium, the FV4202. British tier 10 medium. Benefits of this thing are Hesh rounds, which I love, great gun depression, and that's about it really. Compared to the Russian mediums, it's not as good. I'm not going to say it's not good, it's just not as good as them. It will bounce off the upper plate. You can see it's a very low profile. It does manoeuvre on soft and medium ground very well due to its engine power, but the top speed limit is the same old crappy top speed limit you get with the rest of the high tiered British medium tanks. Probably soon to disappear and go to a tier 8 premium, and the Centurion Action 10 come in, which should be better than this because people like to have their heat rounds. Yeah. Would I go for it again? Yes, because it's British. But if you don't have any tier 10 mediums yet, I would I would suggest you go for the Russian mediums because they are pretty damn cool. Anyway, tier 10 British heavy. No barrel marks in this. Rarely play it. I dislike this tank. I don't seem to do very well in this tank. It's got an amazing gun, but it's a rear turreted tank, so side scraping should be really cool in this, but the side armour just doesn't seem to hold up very well when you have to use very shallow angles to side scrape, and people can pen the top hatch if they get lucky as well. So it's just one I need to work on. I need to play a lot more games in it before I can do an accurate opinion on it or a review or anything like that. One tank I have played a lot, and you can see I load full Hesh, the Death Star. 183mm cannon with Hesh rounds, is capable of one-shotting tier 9s, and with very high rolls could one-shot a tier 10 medium. Yeah, that's why you play the Death Star. Again, rear turreted. Turret doesn't go all the way around on this one, and the side armour has been halved from the 215B. You can side scrape it, you've just got to be very careful about how you do it. And also the turret on this thing, very well armoured. A lot of people underestimate how good at being hold down this tank is. It's made up of loads of different angles, so it really depends on where the round hits as whether it pens or not. Hesh will be nerfed on this soon, so when it gets nerfed it's going to go from, should we actually look at what the pen is? No, let's do this one. 275 Hesh pen. You can see the AP pen is amazing, but the Hesh pen's 275 at the minute, and I think it will go down to 230. So when that happens, tier 10 heavy armour is going to come a lot more valuable than it is at the minute, because at the minute with this thing, as long as you aim properly, you can pen pretty much every tank in the game with the Hesh rounds and do that massive damage. Anyway, but derping is fun. Right, next one then, on to the first of my German tanks, the E50 Aus M. E50 was one of my favourite tanks, and this was a little bit of a letdown. All you get really is It uses the premium pen of the 50, the APCR, as its standard rounds, and then you get heat rounds on top as well, and you get a lot more hit points. Good tank though, but having more gun depression over the sides of the tank than the front can make it very hard, because if say you're exposing your side armour to get more gun depression, you have to be very careful about how much of the tank you expose, because you give people an easy shot. And the front of the turret is 150mm, and people can pen that, most tier 10s can pen that. But a very heavy, very mobile tank which likes to ram things, which is fun. Would I get it again? Yep, good tank, just the reload and stuff, it's not very quick, so it's good. Again, it's just tier 10 Russian mediums that make everything else to not seem as good. Right, onto my first ever tier 10 tank, the E100. You can see you've got 2 gun marks on this. I'm going for my third, starting to work on it a bit. The trouble with the E100, the better gun is the 150. The pen's not great, and it makes you press A quite a lot and load heat, but then everybody does it. And when you load heat, then tier 10 heavy's armour becomes useless, really, and it defeats the object of having a heavily armoured German tank like this. E100 on E100, it's normally just who presses A first is going to win, unless you're really, really good or really, really lucky. Anyway, would I get it again? I would, but it wouldn't be one of my first choices. That's all I'm going to say. Right, onto the mouse. I think this is the heaviest, most heavily armoured tank in the game, and its armour is that thick and heavy. It does actually work even against premium rounds. The only caveat to that is the front of the turret. Even when you do angle the front of your turret like that, the turret cheeks are still pennable, and that's the only drawback with this tank. But if you can get it side scraping, stuff like that, you can tank damage for your team all day long. Would I grind for it again? Yes, but again, I wouldn't make it one of my first choices. For any of you guys that are newer players, I'd be looking at medium tanks as your first choices. They should teach you more about the game quicker than these sort of tanks. Anyway, next German tank, JagdPz. I think this was my second tier 10 TD. E100 hull, casement structure on the top, 170mm cannon. Massive, second biggest gun in the game, bar artillery. Does hit really hard, has amazing pen, a bit of gun depression, very well armoured, but not very mobile, so it's not a fun tank for me to play. Would I get it again? Yeah, but again, most of the German tanks I wouldn't have as my first choices, apart from maybe the E50M, because that is fun. These tanks really aren't that fun. It's all about just hitting people hard and them not being able to do much about it, really. And that's about it. And with most of these three, you know, normally artillery's first target as well, because you're so big. It's pretty much a guaranteed hit for them. Yeah, right, what's next? One that is soon to disappear, I expect. The Waffenträger E100. We still have the 6-shot autoloader. 6 shots of 128mm. You can clip every tank in the game if you pen all 6 shots, including the mouse. And I've even showed a few clips where I've clipped E100s and I've missed 1 shot, and you still have enough potential damage in that clip to kill an E100. 2,700 hit points, and you can still clip one if you miss a shot with this. Yeah. Also, you can do funny stuff with this, like load the 150mm, which is a 4-shot autoloader, and load full HE. I've seen people do that quite a lot. It goes wrong a lot of the time, but it's quite funny when you do those 4K clips. Yeah. Would I grind for this again? Hell yeah. Borsig at tier 8, amazing. Waffenträger Panzer IV at tier 9, amazing. This one at tier 10, in the right situation, most dangerous tank in the game. But if you park out in the open or hide in the corner too, the last one on the left, you're going to die anyway, so you may as well use that hit point pool to go and clip some tanks at the start of a game. Right, what's next? Batchat. Probably my favourite tier 10 at the minute. It's mobile. It's got a 5-shot 105mm autoloader. Good camo value, good view range. It's just everything you need. If you can manage your clip reloads, definitely up there as one of the best tanks in the game, possibly the best medium in the game. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about this. Is it worth the grind? Well, hell yeah. The 1375 and 1390 at tier 7 and 8 will teach you a lot about how to play this tank. And then when you get to tier 9 with the Lorraine, you kind of need to have driven the 5100 to be good at driving the Lorraine. And then you go back to the Batchat, which is basically a tier 10 AMX 1390 with just slightly different gun. Amazing, amazing tank. Me like it. Anyway, what's next? 50B. Bit of a letdown for me. Tier 10 French heavy tank, 4-shot 120mm auto loader. The front hull armour is actually really good, which is a shame because this tank has wicked gun depression, but the turret is really the weakest part from the front. I've had recently Motherlands pen my turret with standard rounds. That's the only bad thing about this. So it's a heavy tank, but you don't really do the tanking with this one. This is one of the things where, just like the Batchat, you appear at the worst possible time for the enemy, put the 4 shots in, hopefully kill them, or track them with your last shot and run away again, reload, and that's basically how you get the damage done in this thing. I'm not the best 50B driver, hence why I've got no barrel marks. I don't play it very much because I don't do very well in it. Yeah, right, next, my only tier 10 Russian medium at the minute. We'll have the other ones very soon. The Object 430. Between the three, the 140 is the all-rounder, the 62A has the strongest turret, and this one has apparently the best hull armour, but you don't really play these for hull armour, and the highest DPM, which you do play Russian tanks for, is DPM. This is mobile, it's fairly well armoured, it spits bullets out. It's just the accuracy at range will troll you a lot, and it will annoy you a lot. But in mid to close range engagements, you can destroy people, absolutely destroy them, and I've shown a few replays on the channel. Right, IS-7 tier 10 Russian heavy tank. This is a proper heavy tank. The turret is absolutely godlike. Has a 130mm cannon which hits really hard. The upper front plates are really strong if you get this thing hold down, and even if you can't get this hold down, you can just see how thick that lower plate is from here. Against tier 8s, park in front of them. Tier 9s with high pen, they can go through your lower plate, and tier 10s will go through your lower plate, which means you'll have to get it hold down against the right targets. But side armour is not great under the tracks, but that bit on the side is all spaced, and that will soak up rounds and make people go, the fuck just happened to my round? Where did it go? Yeah, it's one of those tanks. Amazing tank. I do find the frontal plates though, they do let me down against tier 10 heavies. A while back, Wargaming published a video where there was like, can't remember how many waffles unloading in an IS-7 and none of them penned. Well, for me, if you do face hug a lot in this tank. If you face hug tanks with a lot of gun depression, that completely negates the angling on the front plate and they can just go straight through. So you have to be a little bit careful about how you play this thing, but other than that, good tank. Right, next one. I call this tank Old Faithful. It's not as fast as the IS-7. It doesn't have 130mm, it has 122, but the armour on it, it's just like the ST1 at tier 9. Very strong for its tier, all round. This is an amazing tank for bouncing shots. One of the worst tanks you can face if you don't have any premium rounds, and you can just bully people with this thing. It's just that speed though. The IS-7, you can play it almost like a heavy medium, where this is proper heavy. This is all about its armour. Yeah. Would I grind for this? Oh, I missed out that bit on the ones before, did I? IS-4, yeah, most definitely. Good tank. IS-7, most definitely. It's just some of the tanks leading to them, like the IS-8 for me, the tier 9 one under this, I didn't do very well in for some reason. And the ST1 below this one, amazing tier 9 tank, but then the KV-4 below the ST1. Bit of very heavily armoured, but just a bit boring to be honest. But the end results are definitely worth it. And the 430, the tanks below, the 416, amazing tank. The 432, amazing tank. I know everyone doesn't agree with that, but to be honest, the 430 was a bit of a letdown after how well I did in the other two, but it's still a bloody good tank. Is that it now? No, 268. Tier 10, Russian tank destroyer with a big ass 152mm gun. bit like the troll cannon, but it has 100 extra alpha, and the alpha is 850. Penetration with standard rounds is awesome, and the best thing about this tank for me, the premium rounds, 395 pen with the heat rounds. If someone parks in front of you in an E3 and goes, "Look at me, I'm in an E3, you can't pen me," you load your heat rounds and you pen him and you make him look silly. That's the best thing about this tank, and it's very, very, very stealthy with paint, camo skills and stuff like that on this thing. Yeah, one of the most sneaky tier 10 TDs. And I think that's it, fellas. No, STB1. Tier 10 Japanese medium tank. It's this tank, when I'm trying to say the Batchat's the best tier 10 medium, I think about this tank. I love this thing. Amazing gun depression, okay turret armour, rubbish hull armour, and very, very high DPM, but again with the DPM you get a loss of accuracy compared to some of the other tanks. But for short medium range work, this STB1 will rip shreds into things. And also the grind on this tank, STA1 at tier 8, good little tank. Type 61 at tier 9, a good tank. Again, it has the weird accuracy problems of the STB1, but when it all works, amazing tanks. And would I grind for this one? Well, hell yeah. I would make your priorities in this game. If you haven't got any tier 10s yet, I would go for the STB1, the Batchat and the 140. I made a few wrong life choices when I started playing this game, which is why I'm a little bit behind on some of the better tanks. Yeah, I put time into things like the mouse and JagdPz when I could have been getting a 140 and 62A, but hey ho. I've done it now, it's too late to change what I've done, but for you guys that are newer to the game, I recommend medium tanks first, some of the heavy tanks, and then some of the TDs. If you get a tier 10 RT, you're just strange. Anyway, that's the last I'm going to say about that. Right, so what's this video down to? 17 minutes. I think that'll do today. Better than the hour when I stopped on the last one. Anyway, so there's my tier 10, fellas. A lot of you asked for this video, a full garage video, but I can't do a full one because it would take so long. If you want to see any other tiers or just any other type of weird stuff in my garage, let me know and I'll try and get it done for you. Right, cheers guys, I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.